Today I want to talk about unity and togetherness, but not togetherness in like this touchy, feely, fuzzy kind of way. I want to talk about togetherness in the context of becoming a force who, with one mind and one goal, can get things that we want and that we need in this society. There are many of us, unfortunately, who feel that we can't win this battle, that we can't win this war. But I think that we can. And I think that Bruce Lee said it best when he said, defeat is not defeat unless you accept it as reality in your own mind. Okay, I'm Iyapo. This is Iyapo Yapa. Iyapo Yapa is, of course, an acronym that stands for if you aren't pissed off, you aren't paying attention. Today, I want to talk about unity, and I want to talk about communication above that. Among our people, we constantly talk about the fact that there's no unity among us, that there's no cohesion among us. And it's not even an elephant in the room. It is something that we just openly talk about because it's so obvious. Part of it, I believe, a great part of it is by design. You know, this is something we've been conditioned to. And another part of it, you know, comes from within ourselves, but that's a smaller part, in my opinion. If anyone, you know, thinks otherwise, then let me know and we can talk about it. But when it comes to unifying, the very first thing that you have to do before you can unify, before anyone can unify, is that you have to be able to communicate with each other. Now, whether a person, you know, takes stock in what the Bible says or not, whether a person is religious or not, the Bible does contain much wisdom. And the story of the Tower of Babel comes to mind in this respect. The people wanted to build a tower up to the heavens. God didn't want them to build a tower up to the heavens. But they single-mindedly were going to do exactly that. And what happened, the way that God stopped them, was extraordinary. And what he said about the whole proceedings was extraordinary. I'm going to read that to you right now. It's very short. It's Genesis, the 11th chapter, verses 6 and 7. And I'm going to read that to you right now, keeping in mind the context of the context I just gave you. It says, "And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." Why is that so important and so powerful? Again, whether you're a religious person or not, whether you're a person of faith or an atheist, the point is that when the people were all of one mind, there was nothing that could stop them. When you have God himself. It's not some Joe Blow on the corner saying this. You have the creator of all things himself saying, these people are all of one mind, so I can't stop them from doing what it is that they intend to do. You know, nothing will be withheld from them. They can't be stopped because they're all of one mind. So what did he do? He went and made it so they could not communicate. He confounded their speech, their language, so that they could not communicate. In war, in the military, one of the first things that they teach you is that when you capture an enemy, when you go up against your enemy, the very first thing you do is take out their communications. After you take out their communications, they're basically floundering because they can't call in airstrikes. They don't know whether other troops are coming to help them. They don't know each other's positions. They don't know anything. If you can't communicate, then you can't get, in the vernacular, you can't pull it together. You just can't. And that is exactly what has happened to our people. We do not communicate. Do we all speak the same language? Some would say yes. Well, we all speak English. Do we? Do we all really speak the same language? What is language? Language is the tool that you use to communicate, or one of them. Okay, what is communication? Communication is an exchange of ideas, an exchange of thoughts. So you don't necessarily need to use language per se to communicate. So once again, do we all speak the same language? Well, when you have factions that have arguments about who's black and who's not, against whether light skin is better, dark skin is better, whether you should wear hair weaves, whether you shouldn't wear hair weaves, about whether, about people who have money, people who don't have money, people who are religious, people who are non-religious, and so on and so forth. We are not speaking the same language. And it separates us. All these things separate us. But what we haven't figured out yet is that everybody else knows how to put aside whatever their secondary issues are and gather together on the main issue, which is what? Their race. Race first. That's how and that's why everybody is burying us. Is because everyone knows how to get together. When you see a crowd of people, like you see a crowd of Jewish people, you see a crowd of Latino people, you see a crowd of women, you see a crowd of white people. You know what they have in common? They don't. Is anyone foolish enough to think that everybody in these massive crowds all agree with each other on everything? That would be crazy to even think that. But they do agree on one thing. You see a crowd of white men, you know what they agree on? That they're white. You see a crowd of Latinos, you know what they all agree on? That they're Latino. You see a crowd of women together, you know what they all agree on? That they're women. Doesn't matter, all their religions and personal thought processes and issues about different things are all set aside until they achieve their goal. That's the thing that we cannot seem to pull it together on. You put us in a room, everybody's trying to figure, well, who's the boss? Well, what's this person's title? Well, this person's wearing a weave, so I can't work with them. Well, this person's not a Hebrew Israelite, so I can't work with them. This person's not Christian, so I can't work with that person's an atheist, so I can't work with them. That person's not an atheist, so I can't with all this crap that everybody else puts aside because they realize that They can once you have achieved your goal, then you can settle your in-house issues on your own. You can settle your in-house issues later, but the important thing is the goal, the end game, and everybody has the end game in mind, but us. Everybody. Do you realize what power we have as a people? Take a firecracker. This is a firecracker. This is what happens when a firecracker blows up. Okay, there's your firecracker. So you have one or two black people out there yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs. We actually have a lot of black people out here yelling and screaming at the top of our lungs. But the problem is we're all yelling and screaming about different stuff that is in contradiction to what other of our people are yelling and screaming about. So we're just running in all directions. Not one unified voice. It's like that one firecracker. But what would happen if us millions of black people in the United States, just in the United States, got together and said, screw all this other stuff, we're going to stand on our blackness first to achieve some things that we've decided. Then you take all these firecrackers and you put them together. Have you ever seen a million firecrackers go off at the same time? The same size as the one that just went, I can't even do it. the same size that just went pop. This is what 800,000, not a million. This is what 800,000 firecrackers look like when they all go off at the same time. Now look, you have this and you have this. It's, this is short. This is an object lesson, but it's the same principle and it's the same thing. We could be that 800,000 firecrackers if we would just gather together toward one goal. And say we have multiple goals. Then we can attack each goal in turn. But then what'll happen? Everybody will say, well, this is what needs to be done first. And that's our problem. We need to just say, you know what? Okay, we'll do this first. We'll do this next. We'll do this next. We'll do this next. Until all of our goals are met. And then this in-house stuff, we will fix that later. We will fix that later. We've got to stop letting ourselves be separated. We've got to find a way. And if we don't, then we will be destroyed. And that's all to it. We won't make it. And the thing is, everybody's not gonna make it. Everybody's not going to jump on. I mean, we have our ruckuses and swirlers and all the. I'm not talking about or to them. I'm talking to our people who are awake, semi-awake, want to wake up. This is who I'm talking to. So we need to figure out what it is that we want and what we need. My thing is reparations. As soon as I start mentioning reparations, I get pushback. I get pushback from our own people. You know, what if you stopped pushing back and just got behind us and put your shoulder against it and started pushing with us? How's that? Then you become that 800,000 firecrackers. Okay? You got Sister Ajali. She talks about Fukushima. Oh, I don't really believe Fukushima's. Well, come on. Get behind her and push. Push. Put your shoulder against it. What will it hurt? Got nothing to lose and everything to gain. That is what we have to do. There's no real choice in this. Because either we can each be like these lone little firecrackers going pop all over the place, and people looking at us like we're nothing, or we can gather together and be that huge inferno. We can get these things done, but we have got to start unifying, and the way to unity is first to start communicating with each other, lowering our flags. If you have a beef with someone else in our community, open back up the lines of communication. Say, you know what, we have this beef, but there's a bigger issue at stake here. There are bigger issues. And I'm willing to lie down my arms if you're willing to lie down yours. And let's join forces again to move forward. And if we can start doing that among each other and really meaning it and really seeking the best for our people, then we can do this thing. And I believe in our people so much. And not only do I believe in us, but I'm pained to see what has been done to us. And this has been systematic, and it's been on purpose, with purpose. And we need to stop, or we need to start bucking the white man's system and saying, you know what? We're not letting you fool us anymore. We've had enough. So that is my share for today. Purchase Sister Ajali's book. This Black. It is an excellent read. I'll give you the lab. Also, there's a sister in Compton who has just opened up a grocery store. Not like a small fried little grocery store, like a big regular grocery store in Compton, California. And I will give you the lab to that also. We need to go and support that sister. Don't worry about what she does with the money. It's none of our business. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about anything except let's go and support this sister. Let's go and support our people, even if I have to go out of my way to do it. Once we start doing that, we're going to start building. But I'll give you the lab. And that's about it for right now. I love you, family. And like, share, subscribe. By all means, comment. I need to, well, I don't know if I need to, but I want to work get my subscribers up to 1,000. So tell your family, tell your friends, come to Iyapo and subscribe, because I do my best for you. You know I love you, and that's about it. Blessings to you, much love and respect. Peace.